Yo. Welcome in, man. Good morning to the gambling community, man. Today's November 21st, 2021, and we have a lot to talk about as always, man. Appreciate you guys for being here. Hit the like button for me if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching on Twitter, hit the like button for me as well. Retweet the show if you can. Yesterday in the weekend, didn't do a lot of shows. Wasn't two shows a day as always. Had some stuff to get done, but we back at it today, man. We back at it today. I made a quick video for the couple games that I did get a chance to cap yesterday, and was on the wrong side of Porzingis yesterday. Was the day was Yesterday was the day he decided not to show up, and it was a Kyle Kuzma night. So shout out to everybody who bet on Kyle Kuzma. Porzingis looked like he was just out there, honestly, just standing around. I did get a chance to watch most of the game, but he was just out there standing around, not really participating much. Bill had it going and a back and forth with Dennis Smith Jr. And like I said, Kuzma had it going too. So he was just out there, just kind of standing around. You didn't really do a lot at all. It was actually really frustrating. So I made a quick video about Kuzma, about Porzingis yesterday and the handicap of that game. Just looking to attack the bigs for Charlotte, but uh, like I said, it was a Kuzma night instead of a Porzingis night. So on the wrong side of that one, looking to get back on track today. That was the only play that I shared yesterday. Yes, last week we started the week off really rough, man. Like really rough. I think we was like 3-8, 3-9. Ended up coming back, almost getting close, back to 500. I think we finished 12-13. So looking to build on that, looking to build on how we ended last week, and moved and shift that into this week. So uh we got a lot of games to talk about today, man. I'm interested to get into these. I think we got some really good matchups tonight, and I'm like I said, I'm ready to talk about them, man. So first game up I want to talk about is the Atlanta Hawks and the Cleveland Cavaliers. So you get a spread in this one that opened at 2.5, total that opened at 226.5 or 225.5 on some books. And it's kind of stayed the same. I see some money coming in on the under on some books. I see some 224.5s out there. But the spreads at 2.5 pretty much everywhere. And this game's I think is going to be extremely interesting. So you get a Cavs team. They're 5-1 straight up at home, 4-1-1 ATS at the crib. This team typically plays a lot better, and we've seen that since they've been back home off of that West Coast road trip. So two straight wins for them in a row. They beat Charlotte on Friday in overtime, and then last night they beat the shorthanded Miami Heat team, specifically in the second quarter and the third quarter. Just defense absolutely turned up, and Jared Allen is a big part of that, having him back. Important to note that none of Cleveland's starters also played more than 30 minutes last night. Evan Mobley did touch the 30-minute mark, but all the rest of their starters didn't go over the 30-minute mark. They played 27, 28, 29 minutes. You also got to look at the injury news in this one. So Kevin Love didn't play yesterday, and the coaching staff was saying that he won't be out for a long time. So it'll be interesting. He's listed as questionable for this game. He's going to be interesting to see if he plays. And Karis LeVert, both of those guys are listed as questionable. Atlanta, they have won and covered the last four meetings in Cleveland. Only laying 2.5 in their last meeting kind of feels like a Cleveland spot in this game, with Atlanta laying 2.5 in the previous matchup. So um, another big trend I was looking at for this game, over the last 5 games, Cleveland's defensive rating has gotten a lot better. They were, bottom 10 when they were out west and on their Western Conference road trip. They're actually ranked 11th defensively, even without having the services of Jared Allen for all of those games, because we know Jared Allen missed a few of those games in the last 5. I think he's only been back for the last 3 games or last 2 games. Atlanta has also been hanging their head on the defensive end. They're ranked 7th over the last 5 games defensively. One of the things I was looking at, and that's interesting to me, I'm probably going to end up taking the Cavs. I do want to wait on the Kevin Love news. I think laying, a small number like 2.5, asking them to win by one possession, is doable. The Cavs, if LeVert and Kevin Love play, and this is the reason why I talked about this when I backed the Hawks last week against the Boston Celtics. The Hawks, after a win, is not when you want to take them. The Hawks, after a loss, is typically when they bounce back. And I'm not sure why they're teetering back and forth like that. The Hawks are 0-3 against the spread and straight up after their 3 wins after winning games this season. So specifically road games at that. The Hawks are 8-25 in their last 33 road games versus a team with a winning home record, and just 1-5 against the spread in the last 6 meetings in Cleveland. So they typically don't play as well in Cleveland. I feel like Cleveland being at the crib, this is their third game in 4 nights, but like I said, they didn't play a lot of minutes. This will be their third straight home game as well, so it's not like a lot of travel. They have one more game left on that homestand, but I'm not interested in fading a team that's, playing on 3 straight, home games on their home court. And I also feel like Cleveland is due to continue to come up. We know that they started the season off 8-1, actually 8-0 after starting the season off 0-1 when Darius Garland got poked in his eye. They reeled off 8 in a row. Then they went on the West Coast and they lost the game and lost a few games out there and came back home and was stumbling as well. But now they seem to kind of get it together. And I do think that, having the services of Jared Allen is a big part of that. Evan Mobley, if you guys are watching the Cavs play, he's been tremendous. Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland, right? And then you can kind of plug in that other guy, whether it's Isaac Okoro or Lamar Stevens, Cedi Osman, like those guys are stepping up as well. So I like the Cavs in this spot, man. Haven't laid the 2.5 yet, but that's a really, really strong lean for me in that one. Let me see what you guys are saying in the YouTube comment section, and then I'm gonna get back into the next game. Akbar, my brother, what's going on, man? Akbar said, I'm done betting NBA on Sundays. Nothing is normal. I tweeted it out yesterday, man. It's crazy, bro. It's absolutely insane. Sundays are crazy. A lot of dogs covered yesterday, and that was what my tweet was about before the game started. Happily woke up rocking. Hey, whoa, Mob Truth. We got to relax with that, brother. We got to relax with that. My Lakers been looking good. I know it's been the Spurs and the Pistons, but Lakers were due to come up too. Especially when you think about how difficult the schedule was early in the season. The Lakers had to play against, some of the more talented competition. Now without LeBron, they're starting to win. So yeah, Lake Show. Hashtag Lake Show, like Ape Gang said. But yeah, let's get back to it. Top of the morning to you guys. Let's go to the Celtics and the Bulls game. So I've been talking about, how impressive this Celtics offense has been. These guys are absolutely balling. You get them coming into this game. So line opened at 6, and 6 is a little hefty price to lay with the Celtics. Total sitting at 226.5, which I'm kind of interested in. But I don't know. This one's. Let me tell you guys what I got on this one. So the Celtics, you get them coming into this game winners of their last 9 in a row. They've won 9 games in a row, and they've covered 5 of their last 6 spreads. This will be their 3rd straight road game before they return home to host Dallas on Wednesday. You also get them rested. They haven't played a game since Friday. The Bulls, they've lost 4 in a row, 5 of their last 6. They've also failed to cover 4 straight and 5 of their last 6 as well. Marcus Smart is listed as probable in this game. I think that he probably plays. That's what probable typically means. He hasn't played in the last 2 games, and this offense hasn't missed a beat at all. Boston, they beat Chicago earlier this month. I think it was November 4th. But they failed to cover the 7.5 spread. They won that game by 4. So now you get a spread that's showing strength to the Bulls, and taking a point and a half away from the Bulls. I think looking at this game, the Boston Celtics are still being undervalued, specifically on the offensive end. And I'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. But the biggest road spread the Celtics have covered all season is a -4 against the Knicks, right? So when the Celtics haven't covered a -6 spread all season, and I think that's why it's probably been pushed there, right? They're 0-2-1 when they're laying more than 5.5 points so far this season. However, over their last 5 games, Boston defense have picked up a lot. They are +13, which ranks second only behind Sacramento, who's a +14 over their last 5 games. Defensively, Boston has also picked it up. They're actually allowing the 8th fewest points, and their opponents are shooting 45% from the field, which both of those things rank 8th amongst all the teams in the NBA. Boston also continues to have a really great offense, only behind Sacramento in that department as well. They have the 2nd best offensive rating and 6th best defensive rating over the last 5 games as well. And I talked about Chicago. They've continued to struggle. They're only over their last 5 games, they ranked 25th offensively and only 15th defensively. I think looking at this game, the safest play might be the Celtics team total over. Right now, the number is sitting at 116 and a half. And that feels low. It feels low because when you go back and look through the last like 10 games or last like 8 games, they've gone over this total in 80% of them, right? So go back and look at how many points the the Boston Celtics are scoring, and it's 117 every single time, if not 120, 123, 125. I like this Celtics team total over a lot. Haven't placed that one yet either, but that's the only way I'd be able to look in this one. I don't see the Chicago Bulls team being able to slow down the Celtics at all. And even going back to the game that was earlier in the season, I think the Celtics, I know that the Celtics scored more than 116 and a half points in that game as well. So that's my thoughts on that one. Trying to keep these analysis short so I can get to, a few games before time runs out. Let's go to this Warriors and Pelicans game. So I don't have a lot on this one, but looking at the total, the Warriors played last night, hard fought win. They had I don't know if you guys knew this, but they had a team meeting specifically so that Draymond and Clay could share their feelings with each other and talk about, what needed to change in order for them to get it right. This team was 0-7, 0-8 on road games, and finally got their first road win last night. It took Klay Thompson and Steph to combine for 73 points. Klay Thompson absolutely went bananas. 20-point first quarter. I think he finished with 40, maybe even more. Steph picked it up in the third quarter. And now they're on the second night of a back-to-back, traveling to New Orleans. The spread in this one actually opened at 3.5, I want to say. Let me just check and make sure I got that right. It actually opened at 4.5, and it's actually pushed up to 5.5 now. So money's coming in on the Pelicans in this one. Money's also coming in on the over, and that's where I was looking at. So the total in this one actually opened at 228.5. In road games on the second night of back-to-back so far this season, the Warriors are totaling an average of 230 points. We've seen this team, just be extremely lackluster on the defensive end. And you saw it last night, even against the Rockets. I know the Rockets can score the ball, but the Golden State team, they haven't picked it up defensively yet. Yesterday, that them winning that game was more so indicative of them getting extremely hot and not being able to miss, especially from 3. And I talked about Klay's performance. I talked about Steph's performance. But I don't see a way that this total doesn't go over. You also get the Pelicans at the crib. They're rested. And we know what pace the Warriors typically play with. I would only be looking for this total to go over. Haven't placed that one, and the total's kind of getting away from us at 229.5 now. But I did write down last night 228.5 being a really, really good look. So like that as well. I'm gonna check the comments real quick, and then I'm gonna get back to 2 more games I want to talk about. What up, D? Appreciate you being here. Good morning, Dream. LJ said Boston 11-4-1 straight up first half, averaged 62 points last 5 games. Versus the Bulls, averaged 52 points first half, -2.5 first half point margin. I love that. Love that, LJ. When we break it down, Boston, you do want to look towards the first half. They cover that first half a lot more than they cover the full game. I brought up a trend on the Friday show. On the Saturday show back in Utah in the spot against Portland. Utah has been the most profitable team in the first half this season, and Boston was ranked second. If you guys were paying attention to that, to the screen that I shared when I shared that with you guys. Hit that like button, like Curtis said. LJ said Pelicans team total over. Warriors allow most points on the road, 124. And that's what I was looking at. I think the Warriors will still be able to score, but if you wanted to isolate it and just take the Pelicans, you definitely could take the Pelicans if you got a team total for the Pelicans specifically on the book that you guys are playing at. So couldn't talk anybody off of that. Look, I like the Pelicans to be able to score points. I'm gonna have to see it with this Golden State Warriors defense. They're gonna have to prove it to me before I feel like I don't want to bet against them. So appreciate you guys for sending those comments as well. And like I said, hit the like button for me. Send me your best plays as well, and retweet the show, share the show if you guys can. Moving along, so this Knicks and the Thunder game. This game is gonna be interesting. So the Knicks come in a really, really bad spot. Not only is it a third game in 4 nights, but they've actually only had that one day in between. So a lot of people probably look at this spread and they think, hold on, what? Why are the Thunder being favored? Thunder are coming in off 2 days of rest. They haven't played since they actually didn't cover that spread on Thursday. I'm sorry, on Friday night in Memphis. Now they're finally back home, first game back home off that road trip. And you get this Knicks team, like I said, really bad spot for them. I think this is the Knicks' 5th game in 7 nights. I had this one circled on my calendar, and it's a Thunder spot. The only way I'll be able to look is the Thunder. The Knicks come in, they lost the game against Golden State on Friday. They had Saturday off, and then they lost the game last night in blowout fashion to the Phoenix Suns without Chris Paul last night. They did get Mitchell Robinson back. He was not able to play heavy minutes in that game. Of course, first game back. Thunder being back at the crib. I like this game. I think it's a Thunder spot. Do you want to back the Thunder as favorites? No, you don't really want to. So I haven't touched anything yet. The total in this one was at 230.5, and I do expect it to go up. I expect OKC to be able to score, and maybe it's just the OKC team total, kind of like LJ said, right? Maybe you don't necessarily look at the Knicks team total. They have been struggling to score. You look at a guy like RJ Barrett. I think he's shooting under 30% on the season. Julius Randle, I think he had 9 points last night. We know that this guy can go out and he can get you 25, 30, or he can get you 7 or 8. And last night was one of those nights. He had 9 points last night. So you would expect him to bounce back, which is why I like the total to go over. Typically, tired legs theory is that the games go over as well. So this total being at 230.5, the Thunder back at home rested. Like I said, they're 9-5 to the over this season when the total was set at 230.5 or less. In those games, those totals typically end at about 232 points. Then this season, when teams are coming home after a 4-game road trip, and it's their first game back, the total in those games are 9-4 to the over. So that's a 69% cover rate as well, with the average total being about 230 points. These totals are 5-1 to the over in the last 6 meetings as well. These two totals, if you just look at the last 6 of the 13 that I mentioned, they are 5-1 to the over in the last 6 meetings. Then you also get the Thunder at the crib. They are 5-2 to the over with their last 5 games in a row at home, all going over. The Knicks defense has been struggling. They're ranked 24th defensively over the last 5 games. And OKC ranks 25th in that same time span. So OKC isn't playing a lot of defense. We've seen that. We saw it against Memphis. We saw it against Washington. We saw it last week against the Knicks last Sunday. Like they're just trying to outscore you at this point and just having fun with it. And then the last game I want to talk about real quick before I get up out of here is this Jazz and the Clipper game. So spreading this one actually opened at 3.5 in favor of the Clippers, and money's come in on the Clippers. The Clippers are now a 4-point favorite, and the total opened at 221.5. And I do see it come down to 2. A lot of books don't even have a total out yet, but I'd be looking really hard at that total under 221.5. So for the Jazz, this will be their 3rd game in 4 nights. On Friday, they got the big win at the crib against the Phoenix Suns. And then they had the night. Then they traveled to Portland the next night, which was a Portland spot. I like Portland in that spot. Dame got hurt, and we saw the Jazz come through. They came through on the second night of a back-to-back, even after the overtime win the night before, and they were able to beat Portland as well. So they beat Portland. Then they get 1 day off, which was yesterday, and now this will be their 3rd game in 4 nights. Conley is out, however. They said that the injury wasn't significant. Like he missed the worst of the injury, but he won't be in this game. PG got a little banged up in the last game. He's listed as questionable, but he was seen telling the Clippers owner Steve Ballmer that he was okay afterwards. So I do expect him to play in this one, and if he plays along with Kawhi, who also is trying to get himself back into a rhythm, he didn't come up on the injury report. You have to take a look at the Clippers in this one. I know that they've been kind of teetering back and forth. between being good and being bad. But when you're looking, I think I like the total in this one more than I like the Clippers. And I still would look towards the Clippers. I think if you want to get in, you want to play it early though. You want to play the 4. You don't want this to go up to 4.5 or 5. But the bigger play to me and the what I'm looking at the most is actually the total, right? Total at 221. This Clippers team just continues to go under. Just especially when they have Kawhi. They've gone under their total 3 straight, 5 of their last 6 games overall, and 4. And this is the more interesting fact to me. In the 4 games this season that Kawhi has played since the season started, the Clippers are 4-0 to the under. With an average of 204 points. They're just not allowing teams to score a lot of points at all. I know that this Jazz team can score, but it doesn't really scare me a lot at all, especially with the Clippers' pace. They play really, really slow basketball. Those games that the Clippers have gone under, like I talked about, they're 4-0 to the under already. Those games that have gone under by 26.5 points, 12.5 points, 30 points, and 6.5 points. So I like the under, man. I think the Clippers, they have the third best defensive rating over the last 5 games, even though their offense erupted for 119 points in their win on Saturday night against the Spurs. They still rank only 21st offensively over the last 5 previous games. So I'd be looking towards the Clippers in this one, and I'd be looking towards the under 221. I think Utah can play defense, and I think Utah, their defense. I think that the Utah defense can slow down this Clippers offense as well, especially with Kawhi not all the way back into a groove yet. So I like the under in this game, man. I like the Clippers and I like the under. I probably lay the 4. So I haven't placed any bets officially yet, if I'm being 100% transparent and honest with you guys. But what I am looking at is the Cavs minus 2.5. I love the spot for them. And then, like I said, that Celtics team total over 116.5. Love the spot for the Celtics today. Rested against a Bulls team that's taking a big step back, I think, in my eyes. I couldn't talk anybody off the Pelicans team total over against the Warriors coming in on the second night of a back-to-back, and the Pelicans being rested. Also, I think this is the Pelicans' 4th or 5th game at the crib, so I really like that look a lot as well. And tap back in with me at 5:15 for the Crispy Cap and NBA show. I have a lot more player props. And some of these plays, solidified as actually official plays. Let me see what y'all got in the comment section before I get up out of here. What up, Anthony? LJ said Knicks need Mitchell Robinson back. Yeah, he came back yesterday, LJ. I watched that game. I watched a little bit of that game. He came back yesterday. He just wasn't that efficient. You're going to be winded your first game back, especially when you haven't played in 2 weeks. Akbar said last game – these two teams combined for 280 points, OKC versus the Knicks. That's a fact. That was 145 to 135 last Sunday. So that's a fact, Akbar. I could only look for this one to go over as well. Typically, the second game goes under when you're playing in a short time span like that, but I think it still goes over. I don't see a lot of defense being played. Bobby said, can OKC beat the Knicks twice in a week though? I think it's more of a schedule spot for me, Bobby. I think it's more of a schedule spot. It was a spot for me. I didn't think that OKC was going to be favorite. I will tell you that. I didn't think that they were going to be favorite. And last night when I was going through and capping these games, looking at the game, I said, wow, they actually favored them by 2.5 points. And I think that's why I haven't moved yet. I think if we saw this line open at 2.5 in favor of the Knicks, we would have saw a lot of money come in and, this spread be down to 2. Down to 1.5. But because OKC's favorite, you don't want to take them as a favorite. I'm not interested in taking them as a favorite, but that's the only way I'll be able to look. Like I said, 5th game in 7 nights for the for the New York Knicks, even though it is the first game back off the road trip for the Oklahoma City Thunder. And then LJ said Utah 13-5 straight up in the first half. That's what I talked about, averaging 60 points last 5. The Clippers dead last in first half points, averaging 52 at home. Yeah. I think we could see a little flip. I would be interested in looking at the under in the first half as well. But we don't have all those totals. We know that the Clippers and the Jazz game is actually it's actually the last game on the schedule tonight. So that's what I got for you guys, man. 25 minutes, 26 minutes in the books. I appreciate you guys for being here as always. Like I said, tap back in with me at 5:15 Eastern time for the Crispy Cap and NBA show. A lot more official plays, but just kind of wanted to give you guys what I'm looking at early. and kind of help you guys with your research early as well. So like I said, like the show if you guys can, retweet the show, share the show. And I always end the show with this, man. None of this is financial, consultation. This is theory, it's logic, it's eye test, it's analytics. Best of luck to you guys and whatever you guys play today, man. Bet with your head, not over it. I'm out.